Hi guys, in this video we are going to create another isometric text effect. So let's get started. I will create the same a letter size artboard, and again I'll work with pixels and I'll change the orientation to my artboard to landscape. Now I'm going to create the color palette to work with my text. Since this is a rainbow, I'm just going to duplicate a rectangle 6 times. And then I'm going to use the color picker to choose the colors I want to work with my text. Now that I've picked my colors, I am going to type my word. I will put design. And I'm going to press Shift and Alt to evenly resize this. And then I'm going to click where it says create outlines because I want to create or to convert these to paths to work with. Now with the line segment tool, I am going to create 2 horizontal lines. I'll create one, and then I am going to duplicate this, one on top, one at the bottom. Let me just change the color of the strokes so that you can see them better. If you saw the example, this text is divided into 6 parts, so each one of these can have one color of the rainbow that we created. So to create the divisions, we need to select both of the lines we created, not the text, just the lines, and then click in the blend option tool, then click in the first one, then in the second one to create that blending. If it doesn't look like that, then double click here, go to specified steps and add 5, okay? And then click OK, and this will appear. Once the separations are done, we are going to go to Object, Blend, and Expand to release those lines so that they are now individual lines. Now we are going to divide our text. So we are going to select everything, go to this 3-dot menu to open the rest of the Pathfinder options, and we are going to click in the divide option. Once that we click on the Pathfinder option, you can see how my entire text gets splitted, but also we have several white parts in there, so we are going to get rid of them. For that, we are going to ungroup all of this. Then to select all those white parts, I am going to just pick one and then go to the select menu, same, fill color. And then all the shapes that are white in my artboard will be selected, and then I'm just simply going to press delete to get rid of them. Now we are going to paint our text. With our selection tool, we are going to create a selection to pick one row at a time, and then I'll press I to open my eyedropper and sample the color. We're going to do all the same with the rest of my lines. Now, using the selection tool, we are going to group these letters individually. Once they are all selected, then we are going to pick one, go to Effect, 3D, and open the Extrude and Bevel options. Now, in here, it depends pretty much on you. If you saw my example, I have all my letters with a different type of extrude option. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you time to do it as well. And I'll see you after I picked all the settings for my letters. Perfect. Now that you've applied all the effects to your letters, I am going to open my rulers and then drag a guide in here so I can align my letters better to this space and to remove a little bit of separation between them. Now that you're happy with the arrangement of your letter, get rid of that guide and move your text a little bit to the center. Now, if you remember from the previous video, to really apply this extrude effect, we need to expand the effect. So for that, we go to Object and Expand Appearance. So the effect is really applied. And again, you can see how these shapes are created. The next step, we're going to do this that I'm going to explain you to the rest, to all of our letters, okay? So if you also remember, when we create those shapes, we can see that in rounded objects, we have different levels of separations, and we want this to be just one shape. So I'm going to ungroup my first letter. And then I'm going to ungroup this one more time so I can separate all the parts from my letter. And the first thing that I'm going to do on each letter is to identify all those separations, press Shift, and use the Unite button from the Pathfinder to create one smooth shape, okay? That's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is that with Shift, you are going to select all the shapes that have the same color. And we are just going to pick one. So press I to open your eyedropper and click on the color that you have in the front face. That means that is your brighter color. If you don't have like the brighter color like in here, for example, you can always come to your palette that we create at the beginning and create the sample for that color, okay? So I'm going to do that with the first letter. I'm going to ungroup this, and I don't have any separations in here, so I'm just going to simply press Shift and then zoom out, press I, and sample that purple color. So I'm just going to do this, put it in fast camera, and I'll see you when we are done with this. Perfect. Now that you have all your letters with the same color for each level, we are going to group them individually again. And then we are going to apply a white stroke so that we can really see those lines that form these levels. So let's select them all, go to stroke, pick white, and I'm going to choose a stroke around, let's see, 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 is enough. Now, as you can see, for this effect, we didn't need the shadows because we applied this stroke so we can see the differences of the shapes from the levels. I'm going to get rid of these colors. Well, I'm just going to put them here below. And then I'm going to group all my letters and I'm align them vertically and horizontally to my artboard. So I'm going to open my Align panel, click where it says Align to, pick Artboard, and then click in these two options, vertical and horizontal alignment, so my text is really in the center. And then with the rectangle tool, I'm going to create one that covers my entire artboard. I will send this to the back, and I will pick a color for this. I want a dark blue because I already have many colors in here, and I think with the dark blue really pops up. But if you want to pick a different color, for example black or green or whatever, this is your design. Go ahead and experiment with this. I'll choose that dark blue. Now remember that when we put strokes to our letters, we see how this where the lines intersect, or what the paths intersect, does that, right? So for us to get rid of that, we select our text, our letters, go to the stroke properties, and just pick a rounded cap and corner, so those ends are really smooth, okay? Now I want to create a bigger stroke, but that surrounds my entire text. So I'm going to create a copy and unite this copy, okay? So I can have just one shape. And then I am going to offset the path. So I'm going to go to Object, Path, Offset Path, and I'll put just 5 pixels. I don't want it to be super big. And then I'm going to click OK and choose the Unite option one more time in the Pathfinder panel. Let me ungroup this so I can really get these letters merged, okay? Perfect. Now that we have them, I'm going to unite them so that really all my shapes are unite. If you have one separation, I recommend you to ungroup them and group each letter individually with the rest of your offset path. I'm going to get rid of the stroke and just put a white fill, and I will put this behind my entire text. So I'll send it backward, and then I'm just going to put it there and nudge it if necessary. Awesome. You can always select them both and use the alignment option so they are really centered. And what comes next is really up to you. In the example that you have in the assignment, I put random shapes here with the same colors of my palette. Then I put my name. You can use the blend options to create a gradient for the background. Just have fun, experiment with all the tools that you have, and make this design yours, okay? Happy designing!